Hello, Eagle Insights podcast listeners. This is Henry Conti, the communications coordinator with Bellbrook-Sugarcreek Schools. Welcome to the last episode of the second season. You're going to hear a lot of different voices this week as we invited all of the retirees, and several of them took the invitation. You're going to hear from Tom Bean, Janess Sigmund, Peg Williams, Eileen Malice, Sharon Geis, and Lori Metzler. They took some time to share some advice for those who they are leaving behind and for those who are about to start their career. Some really great, valuable insights from people who have worked in this field for more than 30 years, several of them. It was wonderful to sit down with each of them for just a few minutes and hear what they had to say. I am sure you're going to enjoy it, so take a listen. Tom, as you embark on retirement coming up, what is one piece of advice you can give to anybody either starting their career or continuing here at Bellbrook Middle School?
I guess I'd say be open to the opportunities that may present themselves to you, whether it's a lateral position and a position that would give you more pay, less pay, whatever it is. I would say be open to all those opportunities because you never know. It might be something that really changes your life. I know that happened to me. I really enjoyed being the athletic director here for 20 years, but when I was given the opportunity to, albeit because of my health, I needed less stress in my life, but the opportunity of teaching here at the middle school was one of the greatest decisions I've made in my career, and I've really enjoyed the last 6 years of my career here. And so I would say that. I'd say be open to opportunities that you might not have seen in the future.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We asked that same question to business manager and former principal at the middle school, Janess Sigmund. And here's what she had to say.
This career can be tough because you get a lot of criticism from different people at different times. But I think the thing, if you always keep in mind that you're doing what's best for kids and you're basing decisions on that, then you can go to bed at night and sleep through the night knowing you've done the right thing for the kids, in your opinion. Just an example, the other day I had a former student tell me that years ago when I had him in math class, he ended up with an 89.4 for the quarter, and I didn't give him the A-. He got the B+, and he was really angry at me. But the next quarter, he worked his tail end off to prove me wrong and ended up getting a 97%. And he goes, lesson learned. I wasn't working to my full potential, and even though I was mad at you at the time, I realized later that you gave me a lifelong lesson. So again, if you make the best decisions keeping what's best for kids in mind, you can't go wrong with that.
Back as you leave after 34 years, what advice would you give to either the people who you're leaving behind, as it were, or people just starting their career?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first thing I want to say is that I am incredibly proud, in fact, it makes me tear up, to be in this district for 34 years. It's funny, you don't expect the emotion because I'm ready to retire, I'm ready to move on. I feel very proud to be a part of this district for 34 years. But the thing I would say to incoming teachers or teachers that have been here is to take care of yourself. I think that's how I've lasted, is that it is important for you to have time where you take a pile of papers home and you leave them in your car because you say, you know what, tonight I'm going to take a walk. Tonight I'm going to spend time with my family. I think that's very, very important if you're going to last in this career because it's stressful. It's crazy. It's stressful. And I've certainly seen the stress level rise as I've gone through my career. The second thing I would tell anybody is that ask for help. Whether you go to the people that you teach with, your peers who are experiencing exactly what you are, or you go to your administration. We are all going to have times where we have a student that challenges us, a parent that challenges us, and it is important that you say, I need some help, or I need somebody to talk to. It does not mean that you're not a good teacher. It does not mean that you're weak. It means that you're human. And I think to ask for help when you need it, to talk to people, is so important, so important. But yeah, those would be the two things, is to take care of yourself and ask for help when you need it. I think it's huge.
Okay, Mrs. Malice, as you come towards retirement, coming up pretty soon here, what advice would you leave to the people who stay here at BCI or anybody taking over your job or anything like that?
I think I'm going to answer that for all of the above.
Okay.
And I would say first and foremost, have fun. Make sure that you come to work every day with the attitude that this day is going to be a good day. Whether you're in it for yourself or somebody else, make sure it's a good day. And the next thing I'm going to say is that you will accomplish so much more if you work as a team. This is your work family. That truly is what it is. And sometimes you get along with your family and sometimes you don't. But in the end, if you can look past your differences and work together, it makes the job so much easier and so much better.
Mrs. Geis, as you are moving on in your life, stepping away from teaching, what advice do you give to those who remain or those who are starting their career or the community or the children, whatever you'd like?
Okay, first of all, obviously I'm going to miss all the students and the great experiences, but my advice to people that are staying, first and foremost, make sure you take care of yourself, be your best you so that you can be the best for your students. And for those new in the career, my advice is build connections with your colleagues. It's so important that you share ideas, collaborate on things, and to me the most important thing is you got to take time to laugh. So I laugh every day, and my motto is, I'm sure I didn't make this up, but I laugh every day to keep from crying. So I think that's great advice. Humor always works. So good luck to everybody, and thanks for the 24 years.
All right, so Lori Metzler, as your career comes to a close, what advice would you give to people who are staying behind, continuing to teach, or people who are just entering the profession?
You got to have life balance between your job and school and your home life, especially if you have a family at home. But you've got to be dedicated to your profession, and each child individualize the learning programs so that each child can learn best in their level of thinking or learning. It takes a lot of patience, and just know that every day when you end, you come back and every day's a new day, a new start. And think positive things, because if you do, you're going to enjoy your job a lot more. And there is a lot of stress, but you just have to sometimes just take moments to just breathe and relax. Sometimes step out, if you're eating lunch, go eat lunch with them. Don't sit in your room, because you need to get out of your room for a while. But the children you will love. Just have to learn to get to know them, learn to know their families, and you'll learn a lot about that child and where they're coming from, and take that into account into their learning.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me and all my guests throughout the first 2 seasons of the Eagle Eggs and Eagle Insights podcast. I sincerely hope you enjoyed the show and laughed with us a bunch and learned a little bit about the people we interviewed and about the district in general. As summer break has started, we're going to take a little time here and get away from the podcast. We will be returning in August with a whole new lineup of guests, and I'm sure some returning guests as well, and some new bells and whistles. If you have some recommendations for the show, please feel free to let me know. This year has been an absolute blast, and I learned a ton by doing it. And if you listen to all 21 episodes, thanks, Mom, then I hope you enjoyed them, and feel free to let me know which ones you liked best by commenting on this episode. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you know when we start back up. You have my sincerest gratitude for listening, and I wish you all a good summer break. And if it can't be a good one, make it a great one.